The season tickets over the wall. I think I've had enough. It's finished, Dad. What's the point anymore? Hello guys and welcome back to Blue Tube. We have just finished our game with Charlton where we lost 1-0. The dream's over. The unbeatables dream has been completely shattered. Dad, what are your thoughts?
Well, we were going to go along the just be totally positive, but no, I think we should just be negative and just like throw our dummy in the dirt and go down and protest.
Yeah, throw season tickets over the wall. Obviously, we're kidding. You can't expect to win them all, obviously. And whilst we're disappointed, we do understand that it's very unrealistic to think that we would win every single game. But going through the game in a bit of a post-match analysis that we're doing today, 64% possession, so that was, the norm by our standards. But only 3 shots throughout the entire game, Dad. What went wrong yesterday?
I don't think it was so much of what went wrong. I think a lot of it was Charlton did the homework. They were really closing us down. We passed our ball about a bit, and our philosophy is we've got 10 seconds to win the ball back when we lose it, don't we? And I think they adopted that yesterday. They were closing. Our midfield hardly got a look in, and you've got to give Charlton credit for stepping up, I think.
Definitely. Sometimes it really is about just tipping your hat off to the opposition. I mean, their press was unbelievable. They figured us out. They knew the sort of game that we was going to play, and they did everything to isolate us and stop us from playing that way. I mean, just looking at the passes here, 388, 79% accuracy. I mean, that still sounds excellent. But by our standards, if you look at previous games, nowhere near what we usually do. And it's clear that they frustrated us. Seeing Jay Stansfield was getting riled up by some of their players.
Well, I think, they did. And just approaching the game, we've been saying for a number of weeks now, and before I know we've talked about doing this for a long time, and we was going to sort of say our thoughts on things moving forward. And I'd like to have said, because for weeks I've been saying there's going to be a banana skin game, and I've been calling it every week. And that really was one, wasn't it? Because when you look at when we played them back in the Cup, we were worried about them then. Yeah, we didn't know much about our new team then. We had all the friendlies and that, and we were doing really well. But that was going to be our banana skin game then. Alfie May playing. We just had him from there. So it really happened yesterday. There was no pressure on them, on Charlton yesterday. Whereas there was a heck of a lot of pressure on us.
Yeah, lost the last 3 games, nothing to lose. Birmingham top of the division. They could just go out and play their football. Well, I think most fans could certainly agree with this. It seemed like we was a completely different team yesterday. We weren't at the races at all. And just thinking about why that might have been, I'm not saying it's down to this, but certainly an altering factor in yesterday's game was we changed the formation. We had 3 at the back in Cochrane, Bielik and Clara. And Anderson and Gardner-Hickman were playing as the wing-backs.
When you said this to me yesterday while we were watching it, I couldn't see it, but then I could. And I was like, why are we inviting them onto us? That's what we were doing yesterday. We took that bit of what we used to, like attacking from the flanks, sort of brought ourselves in more compact. I think we gave, rightly or wrongly, but I think we gave Charlton a bit too much kudos. My humble opinion.
Potentially. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say, "Oh, you should have done this, David. Should have done that." Because, my God, you don't need me to tell you I'm in no position to say what should or should not have happened. But it's an interesting thought. I mean, the result was the result yesterday. Was it down to the formation?
Well, just to carry on with that, Chris Davies said not so much what he said, what he intimated to in the pre-match press forum. This is a hard game, it's a tough game.
Hardest away game of the season so far.
And he's been saying that for weeks about our next opposition, but something wrong with me on this one, and it was just like, he went at, I don't want to say anything negative about Chris Davies, but
You couldn't.
I'm not, and this is going to sound like it's negative, but I think he gave them too much yesterday, and I think if he's delivered that in his team talk to them, they're going to really come at us. I think we just needed to go out and play our game, in all honesty, because we dominate games. The stats show that we still dominated, but I think that we we just feared them a little bit too much, if that makes sense.
Well, it could have been more for Charlton, to be honest, if we're being
Absolutely.
fair. The open goal miss for Charlton just before half-time, and then going into the second half, Allsop made a mistake, gifting the ball away. And yeah, then we did concede that goal. I mean, let's go through them one at a time. The open goal miss, I mean, playing it out from the back, a lot of people, it frightens them to death seeing us play out from the back. I still think that it's a wonderful way to play football. It's not going to click just like that. It is going to take time. These sorts of things are going to happen. It's like you said in one of our previous videos with goalkeepers making mistakes. Those things are going to happen, and they're going to be very, very crystal clear when a keeper makes a mistake because of the position that they inherit. But is this something that you think that we should just suck up and wait until we develop as a team and get better at it? Or do you think maybe we should consider playing in a different way?
No, I think that we need to stick to the way we have been
Absolutely.
playing. And Chris Davies saw something that he thought he needed to change yesterday. And I'd like to think he put his hands up and said, you know what, I probably went a bit too defensive with how we approached the game yesterday. And just play our normal game. We actually started better, didn't we? Yesterday, we were passing the ball around from the start, but then we sort of just let them ease in.
Well, they did have a corner at 40. Sorry to interrupt you. They did get a corner once again at 40 seconds. So there was a little bit of that slow start. But I see what you mean.
Not, it wasn't as bad, but
no.
I just want to move on to one of your. But it was individual errors, wasn't it? Like you've noted here about the bounce, allowing the bounce, and that's just like
one of the poorest goals that you
really
can see. Yeah, letting it bounce in the box is something that we cannot allow to happen. I think that really sums up quite, accurately our performance as a whole. The goal that we conceded.
I think you're right.
We really were off the pace. But do you know what? Like we've said before, we want to be positive on this channel, and you'll never catch us just sitting here and moaning about the team.
Sneak it under the carpet.
But getting this loss out the way, I'm not saying, oh, that's it, now it's over, we'll never lose again. But without that sort of pressure of just keep going and that expectation to keep performing, it allows us now to sink back from that pressure of keeping this run going and just play our game as we would do.
Absolutely. And do you know what? If I was a coach down there, I'd be like, right, let's go again. Let's see how many we can do now.
Yeah, this is a real test of character for the team.
Absolutely, they can do it.
Now, I don't want to sound like Arsene Wenger when I bring this one up. And this isn't me saying that this is the cause of anything, but this is just an interesting point to make for you guys, so don't jump down my throat here. But one thing that we did think about, because Water and Paik were both, the whole team seemed to be off their game. There's no one player that I can pick out and say, do you know what, they were really poor. I wouldn't say that about any of them. I think as a collective, as a unit, they were all off par for the game yesterday. Do you think that has anything to do with the condition of the pitch? Because we spoke about it, we saw that the pitch was all turned up. The way that we play, we really use the pitch to glide the ball across the surface in very quick, high-tempoed, fast movements. And I think that the pitch might have had something to play in that yesterday.
We did say that in the game, didn't we? It looked heavy. It looked like some of the passes weren't quite meeting the mark.
Yeah.
It seemed that the players were worn out, if that makes sense, quite quickly. It did look a little heavy. I don't know. We know that there's all sorts of different pitches and there's all sorts of things to go on to slow teams down. We were, just to go off on a tangent, we were being told a story about when Blues beat Fulham to stay up a few seasons ago, and Fulham could have gone up, and we beat them 3-1.
Harley Dean scoring a header as well.
Yeah.
If you remember that, Blues fans.
We'd made some changes to the pitch, and I think their manager had gone off on one about it and was quickly shut down in a press conference. But so it does happen.
Yeah.
But that might be just how they have, their pitch. I know that we've got, from what I was looking at the start of the season, we've got a Prem quality pitch now. We've spent
$3 million
on the pitch this season, and it's like a combination of grass and AstroTurf, if you will.
Yeah.
And it's brilliant. We were quite close up to it, weren't we, on the tour the other day, and it looks absolutely immaculate. And you think of the amount of stuff that's happening on there with the women's game and the men's game, and and it's got to be able to maintain that. So it was probably money well spent. It's an average player in Championship, that sort of money, isn't it? So we shouldn't lose that money at the moment, should we? We shouldn't.
No, well, this is it. But
worth every penny.
Outside of that, though, you know, and ending on a positive, we'll wrap the video up now. As I'm sure you guys can tell, me and my dad are feeling a bit under the weather at the moment with a bug going round. So we do apologise if it's our nasally voices that are just ringing your ears throughout this video. But yeah, end on a positive. Like I said, it's a loss out the way, and it humbles us. We get a chance now to see how the team reacts, and we've got a quick turnaround on Shrewsbury on Tuesday with the Shrewsbury game.
Yep.
If you look at the table, we're still on top by 2 points with Wrexham closely behind us, and we've still got a game in hand over them. They've played at 10, and we're on 9. With our next game in the league coming at Lincoln away on the 19th, as Cambridge has been postponed.
We're just looking at Shrewsbury quickly, and I won't dwell on about it too much because we can look into this more deeply. But Shrewsbury did really well yesterday. They were 2-0 up against Bolton away, and it finished 2-2, which is totally not like Shrewsbury at the moment. So, but when we played them in pre-season, it was chalk and cheese, wasn't it, between Blues and them? And Blues hadn't gelled by no means, and have brought a lot more in since then. So I'm really positive about Tuesday. I think we need to go and refresh, get our heads together, play the game that we play, and get some belief going again.
And I hope that, because we know that Bielik went off.
Oh yeah,
Injury
I
as well
wanted
with
to
his
talk
ankle.
about that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, from what he said, Davis on the post-match, he wasn't sure, but it didn't sound too good.
Yeah, we're just going to have
Let's
a look
just
at it.
hope. By the time this goes out, hopefully we'll know more, and it's not too bad.
Do you know who the best player for Birmingham was yesterday? Well, by stats and ratings going off of what I've seen online, do you know who was rated the best player? Ben Davis.
Do you know what? It was noticeable how well and
He had a lot of work to do, didn't he?
Yeah,
He had a
yeah.
lot of running back. I think he was with Tyrese Campbell came on, and he gave Ben Davis a real tough time, but you know he was able to keep up with him, track him back, and yeah, I thought that he did have a good game when he came on. But anyway, I think we can wrap up the video for you there, Blue
Yep.
Noses. Let us know your thoughts on the Charlton game. Yes, it is a loss, but not the end of the world. You know, I think there's a lot of positives that we can still draw out from it, even given the performance. Once again, we really appreciate any of you who have decided to click on this and given your time for us watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please give a like or even a comment to let us know your thoughts. Anything that we've said that you think is absolutely silly, just let us know in the comments. And yeah, we look forward to hearing from you. Take care for now, guys. See you on the next one.